and say, girl, you better take care, cause that man is trouble.
Hope you watched part 1. It's right there if you need it. We got quite the bracket today in the East. Hey, remember how the first match last time was almost too esoteric for a comparison? Oh boy. Disney held down the top 2 seeds in this tournament. If anything, they are really good at creating moments in time. Moments we'll remember. Nostalgia for Disney is designed into your life from birth. Sorry, that was too serious. Let me grab my boxing metaphor microphone. Hang on.
In the blue corner, the captivating dissertation on the grim specter of colonialism. Black Panther. Taking on the titan of superhero cinema is...
And Andy Samberg. Okay, wait, hang on. New approach. Both of these movies were timely reflections of the moment they came from. Palm Springs was like water in the desert known as 2020. I don't think art can be more timely than July 10th, 2020. How are you doing that day? I'll tell you, very bad. You were very sad that day. But I have no intention of burying the lead here. This isn't a difficult choice as much as I loved Palm Springs. What Ryan Coogler achieved with Black Panther is nothing shy of monumental. A film where the villain isn't the other guy, it's the scars of, The cast is incredible. It's such a fully realized world, and it was a singular moment in time that has passed. Black Panther was a landmark, an astonishing swing that met the moment that surrounded it. Winner by incredibly complex triple backflip knockout in the second round. Wakanda forever. Oh, god damn it. Okay. 10 Cloverfield Lane gave the world Dan Trachtenberg. What a career! 10 Cloverfield Lane is one of the best bottle movies ever made. Read absolutely nothing. If you haven't seen it, just go watch it right now. It is Hitchcock in a bottle. But let's talk about Spike. Up against one of the most legendary filmmakers working today on one of the best films they've ever made, I gotta go with Spike Lee in this fight.
God bless white America.
Produced by none other than Jordan Peele here. I appreciate that Spike is always trying different things. He forces conversations, and he's been doing that since 1989.
You the man. No, you the man. No, you the man. No, you the man.
I don't love his current 9/11 opinions, but I love this piece of art. I love all the people that brought this wonderful story together.
There's never been a black cop in this city. We think you might be the man to open things up around here.
BlackKlansman is a tonal masterpiece about racism in America. You'll laugh, you'll cry. It is a damn funny movie about the past that is rendered frighteningly prescient by its framing. An absolute goddamn masterpiece and just enjoyable as hell. Spike Lee comes out on top in an extremely tough match. The fight went 5 rounds. Winner by knockout with a side of America's problematic infatuation with Adam Driver is BlackKlansman. The next one can't possibly be this. Fury Road has always been an extremely personal film to me. Don't you dare. Hey, could I get some like weird atonal underwater baits? Oh my gosh, how did you have that ready? It's a film that I've seen mean a lot of different things to a lot of people. It is a piece of filmmaking so profound within an industry of uniformity and benign gambles that absolutely no one has been able to mimic it. Fury Road stands alone. George Miller absolutely redefined what films for children could look like, and he just strolls back up to the action cinema plate with a franchise that he hasn't touched in film in 30 years, and, well, cowabunga, dude. Here's a good metaphor to frame this. No one hits a home run at their own Hall of Fame induction ceremony. There is no question that Fury Road is gonna win here, so I want to take advantage of my time. I want to talk about Nightcrawler for 30 seconds. It's an incredible film, and I think it deserves revisiting. Dan Gilroy put together an exceptional takedown about the weaknesses in a for-profit news system and who is most likely to take advantage of those weaknesses. This was 2014. Watch the movie now and let me know how it lands. In the comments down below, I'll show myself how. Louis Bloom has no story. He simply appears, and sometimes he blinks, but only when he needs to put the mask back on. Fury Road obviously won by murder uppercut in the first round, but rewatching Nightcrawler put ghost chills inside of my bones.
Morning news, if it bleeds, it leads.
Are you currently hiring?
The Battle of the TV Boys. Okay, that sounded way tougher in my head. Both of these film casts are incredible, and both films will keep you frozen in place with a clenched jaw for their entire runtime. Boom, bar for comparison achieved with tremendous existential stress. Just kidding, it's 2021. That's all there is. Bad Times at the El Royale is an achievement. Drew Goddard wrote for Lost, Buffy, Alias, he directed Cabin in the Woods.
Speakerphone, no, I wouldn't do that.
Yes, I am. I can hear the echo.
El Royale was a different gear for him. The film is a wonderfully textured bunch of bad guys in a hotel movie with impeccable casting. You absolutely cannot go wrong with this cast.
No matter how long it takes now, how many heartaches must I stand before I find a love?
But Get Out changed the game for what a directorial debut could look like. Get Out made $250 million. It is visually arresting and weaves one hell of a dark and twisted tale. This movie haunted me. On some level, it is still haunting me. And when this fight eventually moved to the sunken place, Get Out was at a pretty direct advantage. Get Out wins by knockout inside of the ethereal prison
known as the 7th round.
On paper, this is the 30th seed in the tournament taking on number 3, Guardians of the Galaxy. 5 heroic beings from multiple worlds join forces against this quaint, tiny Irish coming-of-age musical with the best soundtrack the 80s never made. Is it? Am I even talking words? Drive It Like You Stole It is still at the top of the all-time bop tier list. I think we forget how much of a gamble hiring the writer of Tromeo and Juliet and direct a movie about a comic that the movie-going population at large was generally unaware of at the time. A torch James picked up from Nicole Perlman, who had worked on Guardians for years at Marvel before he came on board. Most Marvel movies were still like, phooey, our flimsy government infrastructure has been taken over by squid Nazis. Guardians of the Galaxy is a mammoth success. Phase 2 Marvel started going in some really interesting directions, but also Thor 2. Guardians convinced a lot of people to care about a tree and a raccoon. And also Glenn Close and John C. Reilly show of this movie. It's as comic book movie difficulty levels go, I'm having trouble thinking of a harder assignment than adapting Guardians of the Galaxy. James Gunn hit a remarkable and unmistakable home run. I love this movie. It still gets me every time. Winner by Space Gun Kata in the 11th round, Guardians of the Galaxy.
In the feather-adorned orange corner of the ring, fighting at 5'8" in sequin board shorts behind a piano is the one and only Rocketman. And fighting in the muted color palette corner with sardonic wit and palpable ennui, Lady Bird.
It hurts my throat. Both of these films occupied my mind for a period of time. Rocketman stuck with me more than most. I think it takes a lot of strength to put your life out there like Elton did. Rocketman internally needs to have a moment of liftoff, and this movie does, and it's beautiful. Sure, some of the scenes are a little overly sentimental, but a strikingly coherent study of a man out of order. Which brings us to Lady Bird, a film that treads familiar terrain in strikingly honest ways.
I want you to be the very best version of yourself that you can be.
What if this is the best version?
I somehow equally relate to both of these movies. Both of these films have killer soundtracks, extremely strong central performances, but a script like Lady Bird's comes along once in the bluest moon. We're going to be talking about Lady Bird for decades.
And not expect everybody to do everything.
There's a loneliness to Lady Bird that cannot be understated, though the movie will try repeatedly to understate it. Late in the 12th round, the fighters could barely stand up. It was Rocketman who fell to the mat first, leaving Lady Bird standing alone in the center of the ring. Winner by technical knockout. This one was an interesting film experience to revisit. I think Birdman holds up better than it did before, and I think La La Land has aged like an old sock. Having said that, I am madly in love with Damien Chazelle as a filmmaker.
And the Academy Award for Best Picture.
Birdman is almost too meta at this point. It has practically taken on an entirely second meaning. If I may indulge myself for a moment, Birdman, or the unexpected virtue of ignorance, weaves an explosive tale that the Wikipedia entry takes some swings at, but ultimately fails to recognize the subtext of the film is the unsubtlest Batman metaphor of all time. It was interesting in film to question what happens to our silver screen superheroes when they move on to differing stages of their lives. The movie floored me originally. I thought about Michael Keaton for weeks. We do just toss Batman's aside like garbage. You're right! And then we designed multiverses, which I will remind you is the exact same mistake the comics industry made the first time their industry collapsed, and then you gotta cram it all back together. Batman is so meta at this point, we'll have to invent new words for films like this.
Let's make a comeback.
Technical marvel is an understatement for this movie. Alejandro Iñárritu is a magician and an incandescent beacon for cinema. Birdman throws a haymaker in the second round. Winner by knockout.
And now for today's main event.
Okay, this one doesn't feel fair, I'm sorry. I'd say for the most part, seeding the selections based on domestic box office actually worked, pretty well. But on this one, it probably reads as... I talked at length about the dizzying bar that the Spider-Man team went to bring a vibrancy and immediacy to comic book movies that had been sorely missing. Spider-Verse celebrates the art of the comic book medium through the cinematic medium. An incredible achievement that I am almost 100% certain that Hollywood took only wrong lessons from. I think Spider-Verse probably caused the metaverse hell we're all about to endure, but that's neither here nor there. Room is a tiny movie.
What a different story! No, this is the story that you get.
It's the story of two people in an impossible situation, and these two actors put on a clinic for the runtime. A movie that absolutely won't sit with you the same way after 2020.
Good morning, Lamp.
It is a harrowing film that will stick with you after. Brie Larson should have been the biggest star on the planet after this. Comic books ruined that too, I guess. But in the end, Into the Spider-Verse won by incandescent pop art explosion in the first round, knocking out not only their opponent, but the entire audience as well.